So, my new friend
Yes.
that I just met, but I'm so excited, and we're going to have our little back and forth. We're going to talk a little bit today about football. You and I were talking yesterday about football.
Love it.
You're actually from
Ohio. Originally.
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 Okay, that explains the Buckeye
That's
thing.
where the Buckeyes come from.
Ohio State.
I have not gotten that out of my blood. Continues.
I don't think many Ohio State Buckeyes fans ever do.
No, I shout OH wherever I go.
Are you serious?
If I see anyone, and there are a lot of Buckeye fans in Lake County.
Oh, well, yeah, because we're the retirement capital of the world.
They all come down.
They
and,
do.
And I'll yell out the window OH.
I see golf carts in the villages all the time.
Yep.
Ohio State stuff or Michigan, but Ohio
you
State's
had to say
huge.
that word.
I know.
That really hurt just now.
I know. My dad's a huge Georgia fan, graduated from Georgia. And I can remember they played a bowl game against the Buckeyes years and years and years ago. And then I remember the year Florida played them.
I do remember that.
Ohio State beat them.
I do remember that.
Yes.
I don't want to say that too many times.
No, that's
being
okay.
in
I
Florida.
will, because I'm a Florida State fan.
You love that.
So
man.
the minute I was like, my Florida fans are always like, oh my gosh, you should still root for Florida. I was like, there will never be a day until hell freezes over that I root for the University of Florida.
I hear that.
I was not raised that way.
Yeah.
You understand?
So do you do the tomahawk?
Oh, all the time. My ringtone on my cell phone is,
Oh,
is
yeah.
that.
There we go.
And it's funny because I have my kids. I have it on silent a lot. Otherwise, it would go off, and I have ADHD, and I would be like, oh, my God. So, but I have it where they ring through, and because they're my kids.
Nice.
It has emergency bypass. Do you know what it's like to be woken up to that?
That would
in
be
the middle
alarming.
of the night because your daughter has a question at 1 o'clock in the morning. You're like frazzled.
I'd be arming myself if I was.
It was like, oh, we're off to war. So we talked about college, though, but we also discussed you're a Tennessee Titans fan.
Yes.
Okay, so why aren't you an Ohio NFL fan?
Well, growing up.
I mean, I can kind of understand why.
You can look at the records. I do love Joe Burrow.
Okay, he is, but
I
listen,
think-
he can't say, I don't understand. He can't
Stay healthy. Well, look at his offensive line.
That's the problem.
guy last year got sacked more than any other NFL quarterback. He runs for his life. The guy is He grew up.
amazing.
He grew up in Athens, Ohio. Okay, so when I played high school football, I played Athens.
Oh.
So I know that school. I know that Southeastern Conference, and to see him play, that's exciting.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's amazing.
But I just can't get to being a Bengals fan.
I get it. How about you
Being
like-
in Nashville 32 years, Tennessee Titans were not there.
Right.
Nashville was new to them, and so when they came in '99, man, I was all in. I moved in.
And they had some good years.
Oh, Super Bowl in '99.
It's just been a little while.
25 years.
It's been 25 years.
25 years. We've made the playoffs several times, but 25 years since we were at the big game.
Well, I'm a big Tampa Bay Bucks fan.
Oh, yeah.
Always have been since a little kid. My grandfather was very well known in this town. He had a barbershop, Jack Wilson, and he also was a radio personality. He did a Coach's Corner. So he would interview, that was like their podcast back then.
Wow.
And he announced all the football games. He was part of the Silly Six that helped Leesburg High School's field get built. The press box is named after him
That's
there.
phenomenal.
And at Pat Thomas Field. Loved my grandfather. He was my hero. And so he was a Bucks fan. And much to my dad's chagrin, I just followed suit. My dad's a Dolphins fan, and we all know.
Wow.
I'm so sorry, Dad. Ugh, they're bad.
They're real bad.
Really bad. Bucks have had some years where
Oh, yeah.
they
Paper
were-
bags over the heads. I remember those days.
Yes, and then we had some really John Gruden years and Tony Dungy years, and then we got Tom Brady, and then we've got Baker Mayfield, and I just love the guy, and I love his energy.
Oh, yeah.
And how that's a perfect example of a team playing cohesively, even with injuries like Mike Evans being out. He still finds someone.
Yep. Next man up.
I know.
I love John Gruden.
Me
When
too.
He was the coach of the Bucks.
He's amazing.
I just love his mindset. I
I'm
love his fire.
Me too. I'll be honest, I'm really shocked with all the college football coaches getting fired, which, by the way, we've talked about this, meteorologist or college football coach in the next life, because you ain't got to do nothing. Be
Nope.
right. You can still sit on your couch and make money.
That's right.
But that no one's tried to snap him up.
I think they're probably trying. I'm not sure he wants that. I think he's probably looking for the next NFL gig, maybe.
I will be honest, I think it's harder to be a college football coach than an NFL coach, simply because of the passion behind and the boosters that get involved when you're not winning.
Yep.
And then with NIL money,
Yep.
which I
It's
think
changed everything.
it's hurt college football in so many ways. I'm not saying people don't deserve to be compensated for certain things. And these kids, a lot of these kids we've talked about, you take them out of a situation in poverty, you put them at a school and give them a scholarship. They can't work.
Yeah.
Their job is that
Exactly.
sport. And then you expect them to be able to feed themselves.
Yeah.
And so I don't have a problem with compensation. I have a problem with you making more than the starting quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers in college.
Exactly.
That's not okay.
Yeah.
And then the transfer portal.
Yeah. And then you create such pressure. I mean, you just said it. The boosters, if you don't have a winning record by year 2,
you're out.
You're gone.
They're just going to get
Next
rid of you.
up.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited you're on the show today.
Well, thank you.
And we get to talk about, we can talk more about sports. We can talk about the Powerhouse Youth Project,
absolutely.
which is amazing. So we'll get to that soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Style Podcast, presented by Plaza Cadillac and Plaza Lincoln, where our drive to be the best starts with you.
Welcome to the Style Podcast. I am flying solo today. What do we want to call her? My bestie, my partner in crime, couldn't make it this morning, but I'm excited to be the one interviewing our guest. And we'd like to thank our presenting sponsors, Plaza Lincoln and Plaza Cadillac, as well as Disability Consultants and Lake Center Home Care. And I am joined with Scott Chevalier, correct?
Wow.
Did I say it correctly?
Said that perfect.
Look at me. I practiced. And you run the Powerhouse
Youth Project.
Powerhouse Youth Project, which is amazing. And I want to start with that because I want to give our audience, I'm a big believer in you got to get in these kids' lives and, intertwine with them and
Absolutely.
create relationships. So tell us what you do.
So 2 things. We offer hope and opportunity. So most of these kids, as you probably know, watching in society, walk around without those. So without hope, there's really not a tomorrow for these students. And so what we do is we walk in the classroom, begin to build a relationship with them because they've been let down by so many adults. You have to build confidence in who you are with them so that they trust you. And then we begin to build in them a new mindset. So if they come from a bad home situation, maybe a bad past where they're looking at what their behavior has been labeled by parents or society as to who they are, we help them understand their story's not over. And so we're going to give them a chance while we're with them to rewrite their story.
I love that. And I like what you said about mindset. I'm a big believer in mindset. I'm not saying you have to be happy-go-lucky all the time, but as long as you keep a positive mindset throughout any challenge you're faced with, you're going to come out, if it's happening, it's helping. You're going to come out on the other side. So, and I taught for 10 years. So I know that kids, when they lack confidence, it's like a snowball effect every facet of their life.
Impacts everything.
It does.
Yep.
And so what schools, tell us, okay, so you do high school.
Yep.
Juniors, seniors mostly.
Yep, mostly juniors and seniors.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're usually assigned to us by the leadership of a school.
Okay.
So when we get to a campus, they're going to assign students to our classroom based on either failing performance or behavior issues.
Okay.
So in society, we call those at risk.
Right.
I hate that term.
I know.
Because I think every kid is at risk.
Of course.
Without
one bad
parameters.
decision.
That's all it takes.
One bad decision.
That's all it takes.
Could be a perfectly straight A student. Everything,
Absolutely.
one bad decision.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you just said it. Mindset it's big because these kids have already given up on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They might have a dream, but they've already flushed that. They've already given up on that because they don't believe in them.
And that breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into all the ins and outs of that, I want to know, how did you get into this though? Like what was the defining moment that said, this is what I want to do with my life?
Yeah, so it sounds strange, but I literally had a dream about this. I worked with students, and I was struggling because I wanted to reach a segment of the students that I could not reach. I couldn't get them to come to events. I couldn't get them to come to be a part of what we were trying to offer them. And I woke up on a morning and had this concept in my head that what if we went to them? Instead of asking these kids to come to us, what if we went where they live and gave them what they need? And so we created this formula called needs plus people equals program. So we developed the program around the needs of the student. And so we started doing a lot of research on what kids needed. And
I
said,
love that
"We're gonna
because
design
also when you want them, I can remember, growing up, it's been a long time ago.
No.
Yeah, I graduated in 93. But I remember going to youth on Wednesday nights was such a big deal.
Sure.
But you have to have a way to get there.
Yep.
And a lot of kids nowadays, they might not have that, whether parents are working, just not going to take them, there's no one home.
Yep.
So that's a big deal. So you go in, you talk to, what was the first school you started with?
I can tell you that, we started not in a school as a program. We started as an assembly program in Nashville. So we were a music program. We had a rock and roll show. It was 30 minutes music, 20 minutes spoken word.
So you do sing.
We had a singer, several singers.
Oh, several. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the band would come on. It was a high production. Being from Nashville, these kids had seen Garth Brooks Fly. So you had to have a production.
Listen, I will tell you, not to get off subject, but there's Garth Brooks concerts, Taylor Swift concerts, and then there's George Strait concerts, and I've been to all three. And the first concert I ever took my daughter to, she's now 21, she was like 8 or 9, I stupidly took her to Taylor Swift first, which I say stupidly because that set a precedent.
You set a bar.
Like, there's there's ballerinas, like on point toe shoes, and there's
She
Taylor,
swims.
Taylor comes down this zip line thing, and I'm like, and there's a violinist, and I'm like, oh my gosh, now she's gonna think they're all like this, you know?
Absolutely.
I bet the kids loved it though.
Oh, who loved it were the schools. They were blown away because when you communicate, hey, it's going to be a music production, they already have a perceived idea of what that is.
Right.
Until a semi pulls up out front.
Wow.
And crews are unloading lighting rigs and stages, and we had the Country Music Association involved. So we had Jody Messina's dancers with us on stage.
Seriously?
Oh, it was a phenomenal production.
I bet.
And at the end of it, I mean, we had phones ringing. Schools were calling us saying, hey, can you come to our school? And we were limited to one school a week.
Gotcha.
And so we did that for 7 years. We were
wow.
in and out of schools, and it led us to the Pentagon. And the National Guard got involved with what we were doing, and it just started snowballing. We just started going from northern Alabama to southern Kentucky, all of Tennessee, and people started learning what we were doing in the schools being relevant, but also delivering a message on the power of choice that was impacting kids, that gave them a moment to think about, like you said, that one choice that could destroy everything in their life.
I think that's the thing. I think you can come back from a lot of things. Kids in general, everybody can. But there's some defining moments where kids that you never would have thought, make a choice that affects them for the rest of their lives.
Absolutely. And I think when they learn the power of their choice, and that means also in good decisions. So we let kids understand that, we always think negative. If I make a bad decision, I'm going to get a ticket. I'm going to go to jail. Something's going to happen. But good choices cost you something. If you're going to build a business, it takes a network. It takes investment of time. It takes relationships. And they need to learn that. And not about just, I'm a bad person, but how do you become a good person?
Right.
That it's going to take effort and energy for you to put that work in.
And I think, too, the kids nowadays are so focused on social media. And social media plays an amazing role in a lot of ways. But it kind of takes away that connection with real people, talking to someone in person, even on the phone, in that relationship. Because you can be friends with 10,000 people on Facebook and maybe only interact with 100 of them all year long.
Yeah.
So relationships are really, really, really important.
Yeah, and I think they learn that. They learn that we teach this principle. Not everybody can go where you're going.
I like that.
And so when you look at your friend group, are they pushing you forward or are they holding you back?
Right.
And so a lot of times kids will hold on to what may not be real for their future. And if they look around a room, I used to say this in the assembly program, you'd have 2,000 kids in front of you, and I would say, look around you. Not everybody around you is as concerned about your future as you are.
No.
And when you take focus of your future, you begin to realize, even looking back, I mean, I don't want to tell my age on air, but when you look back.
I did.
Yeah, I know.
Kind of.
I added the numbers, and I felt really bad about it. So when you think about your friend groups,
right.
Think about how many people you still connect with. There are very few. There are very few in my life that I think about back in the 19 times of graduating high school and seeing that happen. So they need to get a grasp of that to realize that creating those relationships that matter, we call them mentors, are important. That and mentors are seasonal. You may have a mentor at age 16 that needs to change by age 18.
Right.
Because where you're going requires a different level of mentorship, a different level of experience. And so they need to learn that process.
I think, too, the one thing I will say about age, and I'm going to just say it because I've said it so many times on air, I turned 50 earlier this month. And at first, it was kind of one of these things like, somebody's like, oh, you're half 100, you're half a century. And you're like, but then I was like, but I actually know myself better now.
Sure.
I'm more comfortable in my own skin. I would give anything to instill that kind of knowledge on someone that's 16, 17 years old to get them to understand that. I don't know. I wish I had that knowledge back then.
Yeah. We hear that all the time. And so when you talk to a student in our community who may be 21, 22 years of age, out of high school, who feels like they've missed their opportunity, what I hear all the time is, I wish we had that when I was in high school.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because they didn't have a process to think about direction past the diploma.
Right.
You graduate off a platform, you're excited for that moment, and then what?
The next day comes.
Exactly.
And you're an adult.
Yep.
And you're
life's
not
still
really
moving.
an adult.
Absolutely.
And I think that's another thing that I really want people to understand. You know, they've psychologically, these kids really, their brain's not even fully developed till they're like mid-20s.
Yep.
So the idea that you graduate high school and you automatically just say, this is what I'm going to do the rest of my life and have it all laid out, it's a scary concept. I know my daughter graduates from FSU in May, and she's 21. She'll be the first to tell you, she's like, I'm kind of scared, you know, because life's good right now.
Sure.
We're having a great time in Tally.
Yeah.
I love Tallahassee. And it's the idea that you're an adult. You graduated. You've got to find a real job. You've got to do these things. And she's like, but I don't know that I'm ready to do those. I said, I wasn't. You know, I was one of those kids that graduated. I went to college, didn't do so great the first couple years, finally got my act together. But it took me a little while. I was one of those, 5-6 year bachelor degree program kids because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And so I feel for these kids.
Absolutely. I mean, it's almost like we put the pressure on them. And testing is such a big part of this that if they don't test well, we label them as not going to be effective.
And that's why I got out of teaching.
Yeah, I can understand it. I mean,
No kid. Because I am a big believer too, and I do believe this, C's get degrees. And I hate the idea that if you're not a straight A student and acing a standardized test, you're not considered successful. Because maybe they're not acing that test, they have anxiety about testing. Or maybe the C is the best they can do in those subjects, but they are a gifted musician or a gifted artist or anything.
Yep. I mean, you think back in history, Michael Jordan, he didn't make his high school basketball team.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite stories.
It's amazing.
Tom Brady.
Exactly.
And look at what they were able to accomplish.
Walt Disney.
It's crazy to me.
Told he wasn't creative enough.
Right? You know that there's a story out there too, Oprah, that I think she might have even been fired. It was either her or Katie Couric. One of them, they were told they were no good on television.
Yeah.
And then look at them now.
Absolutely. I think that's the best part for us to get in front of a child and let them know, again, your story is not over. It's the first thing we write on every board when we walk into a classroom.
Right.
Because to some of them, it is.
Oh, I'm sure.
And all they know is what they see. And so their opportunities are what's in their neighborhood.
And that's where, yeah. And we're going to get back to that. We're going to take a quick break from the Style Podcast. We'll be back in a few.
Drive home your new Lincoln during our summer invitation event. Enjoy 0% for 48 months and 2 years free maintenance on our large selection of 25 Corsair, Nautilus, and Aviator. Or take $5,000 off remaining 24 Nautilus. Stop in today to see the all-new 25 Navigator, completely redesigned with our most luxurious interior ever, featuring a 48-inch curved display and 24-way massaging seats. Plaza Lincoln in Leesburg, across from the airport. Our drive to be the best starts with you.
Welcome back to the Style Podcast. I'm here with Scott Chevalier. He runs the Powerhouse Youth Project, which we were talking about before the break. It's just amazing to me that the impact this has had. So I want to know, how'd you get to Florida? You started in Nashville, so how'd you get here?
Yeah, so loved Nashville, was living there 32 years,
Wow.
had no intention of moving to Florida. I didn't know people lived here. I thought you flew in, got a bus to Mickey Land, spent all your money.
awesome.
I had no idea. But my daughter owned a princess business in Nashville, and it was very successful. Still going
exactly?
today.
Like where she let
Birthday
little
parties, corporations.
she dressed them up like
oh yeah,
princesses?
absolutely.
That's genius.
And her and her best friend started it, who's from the Oak Ridge Boys, her granddaughter, and it's still going today. It was the third, number 3 in entertainment companies in Nashville, started by a 14-year-old and a 16-year-old.
Are you serious? Is she
that-
still in business day, Nashville?
Absolutely. Still professional. Elizabeth Golden still travels, has sung here locally at the Orange Blossom Opry. Obviously, her grandpa is in the Oak Ridge Boys. But her and Peyton started this, so they knew all the girls at Disney.
That is amazing.
And they knew Peyton. And so when Peyton got ready to graduate, they said, we want you to come down here and do it with us. And so Peyton looked at me and said, Dad, I'm going to move to Orlando. And I said, not without Dad, you're not.
I gotcha. I get that.
It's just a different place than Nashville. And
Well,
so we moved.
anytime. Yeah, I get it.
So we moved for my little girl.
I
Ended
love
up in Orlando.
And you've been here how long?
8 years.
8 years. So you like it?
Yeah, I mean,
It's different.
I miss the parts of Nashville that is only unique to Nashville.
Right.
I mean, if you go there and you spend some time with the people, It's an amazing place, amazing experiences. And spending 32 years there.
You've seen it grow too. Because like we were talking yesterday about this when I was a kid. The majority of my family on my mom's side, they started in Alabama, came to Florida, but then one of my uncles was an electrical engineer. Actually, two were, and one an accountant, and they all ended up in Tullahoma, Tennessee, tiny little town.
Oh, yeah.
That worked. They all were contracted with an Air Force base up there, Arnold Air Force.
Arnold
Base.
Air Force
So
Base.
I spent a lot of time up there, going to the Grand Old Opry, Opryland.
Oh, yes. I remember Opryland.
Knoxville. And so, and Tennessee's beautiful.
Oh, yes.
It's beautiful. And you get seasons.
Absolutely.
Seasons. The one thing we do have, though, that y'all don't, is we have oceans all the way around us.
Yes, you do.
And sunshine all the time.
Yes, you do. You have a warm winter. It's amazing.
We
It's
do.
amazing.
Although I'm hearing that this winter might be a little chillier.
Yeah, I heard
My
that.
co-host Lori called me recently and said, "Do you notice the squirrels bearing the acorns outside?" And I was like, "Well, I hadn't, but I'll go look." She goes, "The Farmer's Almanac says it's going to be a very cold winter. That's why they're doing it." I'm like, "Okay, well, learn something new every day."
Yeah, I heard Tampa is getting snow this year.
Oh.
January and February will be the coldest we've seen in Florida, and Tampa could get snow.
Okay, funniest story ever. I have only seen snow twice, like 2 times in my life. Once when I was like 19 in North Carolina, Boone, North Carolina. It was so cold. And then this past January, Tallahassee got snow.
Ooh.
So Lori and I got a wild hair, booked a room, and went up there and saw my daughter. And that town was crazy. They had like lids to garbage cans or Rubbermaid things. It was literally on the ground. It was staying. They were building little snowmen.
That's awesome.
It was great. It was cold.
Oh, absolutely.
It was cold. So back to Powerhouse. I want to know, how many schools are you in now locally?
So we're in 5 high schools currently. And we do all Lake County schools right now. We've talked to Sumter County schools about being in their schools. They would love to have us in Sumter County schools. Obviously, for us, it always comes down to funding.
Right.
So we have to work on the process of being with those in the community who want to see this happen.
And okay, so that's what I also want to understand. How are you funded? Through sponsorships?
We have some sponsors. We have a lot of personal donors who get involved. We have some foundations, some trusts that get involved in it. So we learn of family trust through our chamber. And those families want to get behind what we're doing. They find out, hey, the school's in my community. I want my school impacted by this.
Right.
And that's what we find. People care more about their community than anything.
They
so
do.
You got to find the people who care about that community, get them behind what you're doing so they can see it. The school's not going to have the money to do this. They're not going to see even sometimes the purpose of it, which is sad.
Yeah, that would shock me a little bit, because I would almost think you would want them to get them even younger sometimes. Like we chatted a little bit on the break about middle school students, and maybe if you can capture that group.
Yeah, absolutely.
And intervene before they get to high school.
100%.
So besides funding, so if someone wants to donate, by all means, what's the website? The
Powerhouse.org.
Okay. But what else can we do?
Oh, they can get us in front of their groups. I mean, we need mentors. So we have kids in a waiting list who, when they when they get confident that they want to have a relationship, and you have to understand that's a stepping part for them. That's difficult to move past their fear and the trauma of being let down by a parent or someone else in their life who didn't step up for them. So when you get them to the level of confidence to say, I want somebody. We have a list of kids right now who don't have mentors. And so we try to find people. In my own phone, I have 19 students in my phone because I refuse to let them be without somebody.
I love that.
And so if they need me, they could text me immediately. And I've had kids text me. It's sad to say. I've had kids text me at 1 o'clock in the morning when I'm sound asleep, and I probably don't see it until I get up at 5. And normally what it says is, Mr. Scott, can you get me a hotel room? And these are kids who are trying to find their next place to sleep. And if they failed at that by talking to a friend, they're now walking around the streets of this community looking for a place to lay their head. So focusing on math is the least of their concerns.
Exactly. That was one of my biggest things. I remember my last year of teaching, I was actually a math instructional coach at a local elementary school. And I remember thinking it was so ingrained by the powers that be in the government. You must teach critical thinking skills. Well, they don't have the concrete down yet. But also, I remember thinking, some of these kids haven't eaten in 24 hours. Some of these kids witnessed something they shouldn't have witnessed last night. So them learning critical thinking skills in math and science and reading isn't on their priority list.
Absolutely.
You have to make them feel safe. And if they don't feel safe, they're not going to learn.
No, they're going to disengage completely, and that's part of the secret sauce of Powerhouse. So our trainers, the first thing we look for is someone who's passionate. You can't just take curriculum or any concept and put it in front of 30 to 40 students who are described like you just said, because they're going to turn off. They're not going to be engaged in that conversation.
They don't want to be preached at.
No, they want somebody who's real, authentic, gives me something that has some meat to it. We call it hope with handles. They need to walk out of the classroom with something they can do something with, so that makes their life better. Just to give you an example, so Leesburg High School, not too far from where we're at right now.
My alma mater.
There you go.
Class in 1993.
Hey,
Yellow Jackets.
Wow, Yellow Jacket. So we have
I'm
not
not sure why they're called Yellow Jackets and their colors are orange
and black.
That's fine.
It's another
all good
story.
in the hood. Yeah.
Another story. I've not had a student in 4 years at Leesburg High School who has been to a football game. Now, just think about that. If you think about when you went to high school.
Not even a Leesburg. You mean a Leesburg High School?
I mean, a Leesburg home game, even their homecoming game, have not attended a football game. And when I ask that question, because that's part of football culture. That's high school culture.
Oh, and I love football. I was at every game.
Absolutely.
We would go
you
to
walk
away
with your
games.
friends. I mean,
Yes.
whether you play the sport,
Certain
cheerleading,
section.
band, whatever you did,
Right.
it was part of the community. These kids aren't part of that community. So they don't even go to a Friday night football game. And so I ask the question every year, why don't you go? And they will look at you and they will tell you, Mr. Scott, $7 is a meal. And so they are literally choosing.
That's going to make me cry.
It's a horrible thing to look at these kids and know you're not even going to attend your homecoming game. So the culture of growing up, feeling connected to something, doesn't exist. So these kids come to class in pajamas most times with a blanket, really with no idea of where they're going to be tonight, no dinner conversation, and totally no cultural relevancy to their school. There's no social aspect of, I'm going to a dance.
Which to me, high school, that was one of the biggest things, was the social aspect, of course.
100%.
I mean, it probably did a little too much socialization. So the idea that there's kids that aren't, that breaks my heart.
Yeah.
That really breaks my heart. It's almost like like I've told you before, I told you earlier, I would love to be a mentor. My kids are 21 and 18. They're both off at college.
Yeah.
Sadly, the girl child, she texts back. She's Johnny on the spot. The boy child, it's like those, you ever seen that meme? Texting your son, calling your son is like texting or calling a guy that's just not that into you. The response is like 5 days later. I'm like, Jack,
Yeah.
But so I've always loved kids, there's so much people don't realize, like they're 0 to 7 is that key age where a lot of their self-concept, their image of how they see themselves in the world is ingrained.
Yeah.
And to break a cycle, if you can get involved when they're in high school and just help them break that cycle and teach them that, no, we can reprogram your mind. We're going to figure this out. We're going to teach you confidence, and we're going to teach you that you're worth something.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Oh, yeah. Letting them know you have value.
Yes.
If they're just here at one time, they still don't believe you.
Right.
And so you have to be, I call it the ABCs. A is authentic, B is believable, C is consistent. You have to be all three to these kids. So first year at Leesburg High School, I didn't know where Leesburg High School was. I mean, how we came to Leesburg High School was a story in of itself. But when I got there, I had no idea about the high school. I was told 30% was considered homeless. I walked into a school really a little bit intimidated because I'm a little bit older. I know your year of graduation, I celebrated that 10 years ago. So I'm giving my age away. Yes, I am. I'm giving my age away.
That's not, no.
It is so true.
It is not fair how better men age than women.
But I'll take
Are you
that.
serious?
Yes, it's a really hard concept for me to grasp.
It is a hard concept because I don't feel like I'm that far removed. It's so funny. I remember looking at adults when I was in high school going, they don't get it. They're old.
Exactly.
And now I'm like, no, you weren't. You weren't old. I'm
Absolutely.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yep.
Because I still understand how it feels to be, you can remember moments where you didn't feel included or you didn't feel like you were part of a group. And that just, it's crazy. And the funny thing is, Leesburg High School is a beautiful campus. It's a beautiful school, but it is intimidating. Now, explain the 30% homeless, because I think people have a misconception that they think if they're homeless, they're sleeping on a park bench. Not that some might not be, but there's an actual classification of how they do that.
Yeah, I mean, so when you look at a homeless person, in our culture, we think it's the person we see on a bench or someone under a bridge. And that's not typically homeless. Homeless is defined by not having security of where you're going to be night to night. So they could be with a guardian, but being kicked out of that house, now looking for the next place to sleep,
Yes.
They're going to a friend's house.
Or the guardian, or you're sleeping in a car. The guardian they're helping. Friends are helping them.
100%. So it's a very difficult thing. But when I came to Leesburg High School, I was intimidated at first walking in because we had not done an assembly since I left Tennessee.
Did you start with an assembly there?
No.
Okay.
So we started with the classroom experience. And so I walked into a classroom thinking, how are they going to respond to this?
Right.
Are they going to understand why we're here and grasp this? Here's what's amazing. 3 sessions in to what we were doing, I had students hugging me in the hallway. And it wasn't the hug that impressed me. It's what they said. Their statements were, Mr. Scott, please don't leave us.
Oh, my gosh.
And what it said to me was they had been left by a lot of people. And so my response to them, and has been to this day, I won't leave you if you don't leave us.
I love that.
We'll walk with you through this journey and get you where you need to be. And the success stories are off the chain.
Can you give me a couple of examples?
Yeah, I'll give you 2 great ones. So okay. I met these 2 young boys in the first year at Leesburg High School. Both of them sat on a couch in front of me, and they like to talk football. So I love football. I can have a conversation about football. And we used to banter back and forth about who I liked, who they liked. And one day I asked them, I said, do you play football here? And they said, no, we hate Leesburg High School football. They're terrible. And I said, well, you guys keep talking about football like you want to play football. Oh, yeah, we're going to play in college. I said, well, I hate to tell you this.
Yeah.
No one recruits you in your backyard.
They don't.
You have to get on the field, and I'm going to challenge you to get in the locker room, make this team better. Go do something with this team. They took that challenge.
They did.
Both Takori and Randall started working out, made the team, not only made the team, became the starting linebacker, starting defensive end, and last year, when I walked on campus, they ran across the campus shouting to me, Mr. Scott, you're not going to believe it. We both have full rides to play college football.
Oh, that is absolutely amazing.
It was amazing.
I bet their lives are changed.
Totally different. It took them from a community where they knew there were boundaries to now everything is possible. And what we had taught in class was reality. They learned that opportunity is now. And if they grabbed it, their life could change. And it is changed. They walked across the platform knowing what they were going to do the next Monday.
That's one of the most amazing stories I've heard in a long time. And we're going to pick back up in just a few minutes. We're going to take a quick break on the Style Podcast.
Get all the Social Security disability benefits you deserve with disability consultant Jeff Bell. Our experienced Florida certified ADR handle claims on a contingency fee basis, meaning you don't pay unless we recover money for you. We have established a strong reputation as a firm that cares and provides the best care to its clients. Call us today or visit cbell.com.
Welcome back to the Style Podcast. I'm joined with Scott Chevalier. He runs the program, the Powerhouse Youth Project, which everything we've discussed is just absolutely amazing. And I'm really hoping that people that watch this go to your website and sign up to be a mentor, because I know I'm going to. And I just think if you can give, I'm a big believer in giving back. And I'm a big believer. We had Denise Burry on the podcast a little while ago, and she's in charge of Forward Paths. And it helps. Yep. It helps the homeless.
Absolutely.
But it also helps foster kids that have aged out, which I still can't get over the concept of aging out of something, but when you don't have anywhere to go. And I remember telling her I have a really strong, hardcore belief that we need to take care of those that are the vulnerable of society. Our kids, our elderly, our stray animals, like, take care of them. Yep. And I have to hand it to you. This is an amazing thing. So you're in Leesburg?
Yep, Leesburg, Umatilla High School, South Lake High School, Ali Academy, Charter High School, and then we are getting ready to launch at Eustis High School.
Amazing. So. That's just an amazing thing. And I can imagine it's a lot. It's a lot to, you need funding, you need mentors, all these things, but you seem like you love it.
We do. I mean, it's my passion. When kids look at me and, the story I told about those 2 young men, one day they asked me in class when we were talking about purpose, because we have words on our walls that say passion, purpose, profit. That's the process of thinking. And they asked me one day in class, Mr. Scott, what's your purpose? And it's an easy answer for me. And I just looked down at them and the rest of the class and I said, you are. You are my purpose every day. So when I get up to go to a class, I'm walking in my purpose, having a chance to really engage who these kids are and get them to the best version of themselves. And to do that every day, it's so rewarding.
I can only imagine and you tell kids, it's so funny, you're like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And if you can find something you're passionate about, you'll never feel like you're working. And I know it sounds cliche, but it's one of the truest things that anybody's ever said.
Yep.
Because going to a job is going to a job. Going into a career or a purpose where you can live, you have to be able to live, but you can, create income and have a passion about what you're doing. That's a whole new world.
Absolutely.
You'll never get bored doing that.
We tell kids all the time, there's never been a baby born where a doctor held the baby up in front of the parents and said, look, a banker.
Oh my gosh.
Look, a teacher. Look, whatever, fill in the blank.
Right.
You are more than what you do.
Always.
And so finding purpose is understanding that. And so when we have someone come in, we call them hope dealers to share their story.
Oh, that's a good one.
So
You've got all kinds of good little things.
So when they come in, they tell their story, they'll often say, I became this because of, and then we will immediately redirect the student's attention to, did you hear what they said? Mm-hmm. They didn't say they wanted to be a teacher. They said they wanted to help people.
Exactly.
Teaching was the vehicle. So whatever the vehicle is, that can be your career, as long as you're fulfilling while you're here.
Right. And we do all have a purpose.
Absolutely.
I love that. The funny thing is, too, we recently had some change up. We have multiple podcasts with Acres, and we have a Sports Hub podcast. And shocker, shocker, you're the new host for
How
the
about
Sports
that?
Hub podcast.
You have to hear my voice a lot.
But you do an amazing job. You're so easy to talk to. I'm so excited that you're coming on board. And that's going to be great because I will say this one thing that Acres has done so well in this community is become the backbone of, I think it kind of started covering high school sports, which is so important, and it's morphed into something so much bigger. But my dad is a retired journalist. He actually writes some for Acres now, but he worked for the Sentinel. He, after he retired, he didn't want to stop, so he freelanced with a commercial. But we don't have a local paper that's covering these kids and their sports, and that's how colleges find out about them.
Absolutely.
And parents are proud and want it out there. So the Sports Hub podcast took off big. So you excited?
I am. And I think you just said it well. I mean, behind every catch, every block punt, every 3-point shot, every home run,
Right.
There's a story.
There is.
And people want to know that story. We don't want to wait till they're in pro ball or college ball.
No.
These are homegrown young men and women
Right.
who are making a difference.
And I love that because we were talking on break about the different ones we've talked, we talked about Michael Jordan, Baker Mayfield, Tom Brady, Josh Allen, and we didn't know these stories until they were well known in their professional careers. Baker might have had a few things happen when he was at Oklahoma, but I love that these kids, and some of them are really gifted athletes.
100%.
And if without someone covering it, without someone, these colleges wouldn't know. Lake County's still a small county. Sumter County's still a smaller county, but we have some really gifted athletes.
Yeah. And what a great platform for them to
Yes.
boost their determination to be better.
Yes.
That now they're being recognized because, yes, you can be good at doing your sport, but to be recognized for it,
You have to there has to be a certain standard. Once the recognition starts, you have to, colleges look at your character too,
100%.
or what they hear about you and see and know about you. So once you put them on that platform, they have other kids looking up to them.
Yep.
Fellow athletes. A cohesive team is the only way you win.
Yep.
I don't care how much talent you have.
That's right.
So then it creates that. I'm so excited for you, and I'm really excited. We're going into what? We have basketball season, baseball season.
Yep.
You'll do spring football.
It'll be exciting. I mean, and to hear their backstories, to hear where they came from, when they were playing junior ball, now where they're playing on a high school field. What was their mindset when they did that?
Yeah.
What's it feel like when you hear the word Friday Night Lights?
That's the funny. I'm the oldest of 3 girls. My father, I'm his son. Okay, growing up, I'm the one that helped him move a dresser, and he graduated from the University of Georgia, who loves their football.
Oh, yeah.
Go Dogs.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was raised. I can remember when Georgia beat Florida when Emmitt Smith was playing for Florida.
Oh, my gosh,
The
yeah.
Herschel Walker stories. My
Yeah.
dad had an alarm clock that literally had that Herschel Walker. Was that Herschel? It might have been Lindsay. One of them it woke him up to them screaming, and the dogs, go Dogs, and that would wake him up every morning. And so I love football, and I'm passionate about it. I'm a girl, and so it's not real common that, we're on the field. So I love the idea of seeing a kid's face light up because that's a big responsibility. you're on the field playing a game and people, you got the crowd chanting and things like that, like to be able to focus.
100%. And I don't think a lot of times athletes realize the influence they have on a high school field
They
or
totally
court.
do. Right.
That they have an opportunity on that platform, even now in this community, to influence middle school students,
Yes.
elementary kids who are watching them play ball at a level that sometimes we watch on Sunday afternoon or Saturday.
Exactly.
That's the platform they're sitting
huge.
on.
It is so huge. And it's funny. I've always liked basketball. Football's my favorite. I love ice hockey too and baseball. But one of my best friends, her daughter is married to Trey Mann.
Okay.
He graduated from the Villages Charter, attended University of Florida. He plays for the Charlotte Hornets now. And we went to a game recently, and he's just the greatest guy. I call him a kid. He's in his 20s, but so unassuming, knows he's good, but does not. You would not, you might know because you know who he is or he's tall and everything, but he doesn't walk around as an arrogant egotist. Like, he's a good human.
It's awesome.
And he's a great dad, and it's so cool. And it's just amazing to see. He's homegrown,
Yep.
He went to high school here. He went to college just an hour away, and it's amazing. And so when we were at that game, just looking at the talent on that court, it floored me.
Yeah.
The 3-point shots these guys were doing, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yep.
somebody fostered that talent.
Absolutely. And the work ethic.
Yes,
These
that is
guys
work
in a
ethic.
gym where no one was watching.
Exactly.
And continually shooting the ball. And when they miss, they pick up the ball and they shoot again. And they learn a process.
Thank you.
Muscle memory becomes a part of that. And no one sees that.
No, they don't.
They just cheer on the Friday or the Saturday and miss the opportunity of what it took to get there.
Oh yeah, I remember. I'm a big Tom Brady fan. We talked about that. One of my dogs.
I haven't heard that lately.
Yeah, one of my dogs is named Thomas Edward Patrick Brady, but he's one of those ones I can remember. He was even now still so dedicated. The diet, the workouts, the mindset, and you're like, he really accomplished a lot. He was not on anyone's radar.
No. Yeah.
Went
Yep.
to Michigan, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Got that chance when Drew Bledsoe got injured.
Yep.
And look, I think he went, I have a T-shirt actually, and it says 199 because that's where he went in the draft.
Wow.
So it just goes to show you, you can do anything.
Yeah. And it's interesting if you look back that I remember that game, watching that game when Tom Brady came in. He looked like a child.
He did.
He looked so unassuming entering the field, and to look forward to what we know in history now is mind-blowing.
It is.
It is absolutely mind-blowing to think he's known as the GOAT.
I know, he really is. And I know people argue that. Again, we know I'm a Bucs fan, so I remember there was rumors that he was coming to Tampa. And I loved watching the Patriots with Gronk. Julian Edelman is like my all-time favorite football player in the NFL.
I want a beard like that.
You have a good
I
beard.
can't grow a beard like Julian Edelman. There's no way.
And Julian's so funny if
Yeah.
you listen to him. But I remember telling my husband, I was like, Tom Brady's coming to Tampa. No, he's not. Yeah, he is. I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure. I have a feeling we need to get season tickets now before, they go
It
up in
happens.
price. He didn't believe me. And what happened?
Oh, no.
He came and tickets skyrocketed. We did end up getting tickets for a few years. And I got to then when Baker came, I just was so excited. It fit so well. But see, I could talk sports with you all day. I love sports. Again,
You'll have to come on the sports podcast.
I will. But I am so excited because I think you're perfect. Your energy, your charisma, your voice, and you get excited about it and you love the kids.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
going to be great.
I think it's going to be, I'm looking forward to it because I do love these kids and I want to hear their stories
Right.
and I want to give them a platform.
I'm going to need you to have some competition cheer girls on though too.
Ooh, yes.
Because my daughter
Okay.
did that and they are athletes.
Fantastic.
Amazing athletes.
Yeah,
So,
what they do, I cannot do.
When I tell people, I'm like, you should see how they are. So excited. And it was so fun to have you on.
Well, thanks for having me.
You're welcome anytime. And that's it today for the Style Podcast. Thank you for joining us. And once again, we always want to thank our presenting sponsors, Plaza Lincoln and Plaza Cadillac.